What's up, YouTube? Ryan back today with a Week 8 minor league recap. Let's jump into it. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Again, Week 8 minor league recap. We're going to jump into it pretty quick here just because we have so many players to talk about this week. LowA is filled with talent, and the performances this week are unreal. So I'm not going to hold you guys up so much. So let's just jump straight into the video today. If you guys like these minor league recaps, please give my video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments if I missed anybody. Drop their stat lines down in the comments below, just so me and anybody watching this video can look in the comments below and say, oh, hey, that dude killed it this week too. Maybe I should look up his sports cards. Maybe I should be following this guy if I'm a fan of his team. Stuff like that. So drop them down in the comments below, and let's jump into the video. We're starting off, as always, LowA Baseball. First player this week, Alexander Canario, absolutely demolished this baseball to center field. He had a really great week this week and showed he still got power. He plays for the San Jose Giants, as the same team as Luis Matos, Marco Luciano. Alexander Canario is another one of those top prospects for the Giants that a lot of people have a lot of faith in. He played really well this week. Over 6 games, he hit .318 with a .423 on base percentage, .636 slugging percentage, and 1,050 OPS. So did really great there. He also hit 2 home runs, a double, had 7 hits in 6 games. He had 6 RBIs, even walked 4 times, and he stole a base. So really good week for Alexander Canario. Did a little bit of everything and kind of showed his potential this week because, you know, he's a little up and down, but the talent's there. So if he can unlock that consistency, I could really see him being an absolute star, but he's got to get there first. Next player up, and this is the LowA Performer of the year so far, I think, as far as how many times he's been on our video. Tyler Soderstrom. He's the first-round draft pick for the Oakland Athletics this year, 26th overall. He just keeps hitting. 5 games this week. He hit .381 with a .435 on base percentage, 1,150 OPS. He had a home run. He had a triple. He's a catcher, remember. He had 2 doubles, 8 hits in 5 games, 6 RBIs. He walked twice even. He just seems to be really good. He's an athlete. You love seeing when catchers can get all the way to third base because, you know, that just doesn't happen very often, especially at the MLB level. He just continues to hit, and Tyler Soderstrom's doing his thing. Very impressed with him so far this year. Like I said, he might be the best player in LowA so far as just surprising performances from the draft. And the LowA Performer of the week this week, I don't know what else to say about this player. Jordan Walker for the St. Louis Cardinals he's amazing. He is doing so well in LowA. Yes, I say Tyler Soderstrom might be the best performer this year. That's because he hasn't been hurt. Jordan Walker did get hurt this year, but outside of being injured, Jordan Walker's been the best hitter in LowA, and this week does more of the same. Over 6 games this week, he hit .375 with a .423 on base percentage, a .792 slugging percentage, 1,215 OPS. He had 2 home runs. He had 4 doubles. He had 9 hits in 6 games. He had 8 RBIs on top of that, and he walked twice. He just keeps on getting on base, and when he's not, he's absolutely hitting laser beam home runs. Like, that home run was a shot and a half. Like, that was ridiculous. Absolutely crushed that baseball. He's a giant kid, too. 6'5", 220. Love seeing this type of performance for someone so big at such a young age. Love it. He needs to move up. He really does. All right, HighA baseball time. Let's do it. First up in HighA baseball, Brett Baty, Brooklyn Cyclones. I've said it many times. I love his swing. Hits an Oppo Taco here. Doesn't even look like it looks like a double, but it carries out of the field, hits off the scoreboard. Brett Baty continues to impress me. Might be one of my favorite players in HighA so far. So Brett Baty, as I've said in past videos, the 12th overall pick in 2019. First rounder for the New York Mets. Over 5 games this week, he just keeps on hitting. 300 batting average, 391 on base percentage, 700 slugging, just shy of 1,100 OPS. He had a home run, he had a triple, he had 3 doubles, he had 6 hits in 5 games. He also had 3 RBIs and 2 walks on top of that. Hey, and he got beamed. So, really great week for Brett Baty. Kicking us off for HighA. Next player up, Greg Jones. Right now, he's playing for the Bowling Green Hot Rods. Greg Jones has surprised me this year because he was not fantastic back in 2019, but he's done really well this year, really well. This week in 4 games, he hit .313 with a .450 on base percentage, just shy of a .700 slugging percentage, 1100 OPS. He had 2 home runs. He had 5 hits in 4 games. He also walked 4 times, and he plays shortstop. That premium position, we just don't see enough shortstops performing at a high level. Greg Jones, he looks good. He is older, though. He's 23 years old in HighA. Only red flag. Andy Pages might be the best 20-year-old power hitter in the minor leagues. Every time I check the box scores, it seems like Andy Pages is hitting a home run, and we're going to jump into that with his statistics this week because he absolutely hit just tanks. All right, Andy Pages, he plays for the HighA Great Lakes Loons. So hard to say that. Say that 10 times. For the Los Angeles Dodgers. He's 20 years old. He just hits for so much power. He has 14 home runs this year already. But this week in 5 games, he hit 273 with a 304 on base percentage, an 818 slugging percentage, 1123 OPS. He hit 4 home runs. He had 6 hits in 5 games. He also walked 1 time. A lot of power. That's why he's in this video this week. And honestly, I do have like one problem with Andy Pages right now as a player. I need to see him get on base more because his first year in rookie ball, he got on base like every time it seemed like. He had a 400 on base percentage. Andy Pages is struggling to consistently barrel up the ball a little bit at HighA, but when he is, it's like I said, he's got 14 home runs already. He's 20 years old. Like he's on pace at like 40 home runs in the minor leagues. So good for you, Andy Pages, but I would like to see more improvement on the batting average and on base percentage specifically as we move forward, as well as the home runs. A guy I talked up a lot before the season, Benton Doyle here. He plays for Spokane. Absolutely smashed this baseball. 3-run home run over the big wall in left center. Benton Doyle, he is a 4th rounder in the 2019 draft. He has worked his way up to a top 5 prospect for the Rockies. Absolutely love Benton Doyle, like everything about him as a player. And this week, he got back to doing what he's best at, which is getting on base and just hitting the crap out of the ball. Because he struggled a little bit this year. He's gone really up and down, but he had an up week this week. Over 6 games, he hit 375 with a 400 on base percentage, 625 slugging. 1,000 OPS. He had 1 home run. He had 3 doubles. He had 9 hits in 6 games. He walked once as well. He also stole a base. Just a good week for Benton Doyle. It really was. It was just a solid week for Benton Doyle. Good to see it for me as someone that believes in a player like him, which I really want him to succeed because he went to Shepherd University, just a small school. So I'm a big Benton Doyle fan. I think he's a good player, has a good frame. He had a really good play on defense too this week, but really solid week. I don't know whether to root for Garrett Mitchell or to root against him since my D-backs passed up on him in the draft. Garrett Mitchell, 22 years old. He was the 20th overall pick in the 2020 draft last year. I think 19 teams might have passed him up that maybe shouldn't have. I remember he dropped in the draft because he has diabetes or something like that. But he ended up dropping. He was supposed to be like a top 10 pick, like even like 12 at the highest, and he ended up going 20. So a few teams definitely passed up on him, but he is absolutely killing this year. He had a small injury, so he missed some time, but this week, 5 games, he hit 308 with a 550 on base percentage, 923 slugging percentage, almost a 1,500 OPS. He hit 2 home runs. He had 2 doubles, 4 hits in 5 games, both being extra base hits. He had 5 RBIs. He had 7 walks. Really good at getting on base. Love the plate discipline. Anytime someone walks 7 times in a week, it's probably because they have really good plate discipline, not just because the pitchers can't throw strikes. So, still working on if I should root for him or root against him. I'm more just mad at my D-backs, but Garrett Mitchell looks really good. Really, really good. And my player of the week this week for HighA, Francisco Alvarez, absolutely smashed this week. All he did is hit home runs. Like, that is it. We'll jump into that, but the power is showing up big time for Francisco Alvarez. Francisco Alvarez, international signee for the New York Mets, top prospect for them. He's a catcher, which is even more impressive when you see these hitting numbers. He had a slow start when he first got moved up to HighA, but he has absolutely turned it on, especially recently and this week in particular. 4 games this week. He hit 417 with a 533 on-base percentage, 1,300 slugging percentage. I almost said OPS because that's like a really good OPS. But no, he had a 1,900 OPS almost. He hit 3 home runs. He hit 2 doubles, 5 hits in 4 games. He also walked 3 times on top of having 6 RBIs. So just a really solid week. He hit as many home runs as he walked this week. Absolutely ridiculous, especially when you hit 3 home runs and walk 3 times. Obviously, you could have 0 walks and 0 home runs. Anyways, Francisco Alvarez, fantastic performance this week. He only played in 4 games, but he killed him in those 3 games. All right, we're jumping straight into AA here. Grayson Rodriguez, my favorite pitcher in the minor leagues since 2019. I just really like his stuff. He's always shown just an elite ability of getting hitters to swing and miss, and he just has electric stuff. He throws like 97. He's 6'5", 220 on top of that, so it's an easy 97. He got recently moved up to AA. He had his 5th start there now. He's rocking a 1.8 ERA. But this week, 5 innings, no earned, only 1 hit. Really good performance by Grayson Rodriguez this week. I really want him to get brought up this year. I'm not sure if they're going to. Him and DL Hall are really good. So that Orioles rotation is on the ups. Grayson Rodriguez killed it this week. Really, really solid outing. Love to see it. We have a few guys this week that, like I've said a couple times in the video, only hit home runs this week. Payton Burdick is one of those guys. Absolutely crushes this home run. Payton Burdick, 3rd rounder in 2019. He's actually like a top 10 prospect for the Marlins. I think he's a lot better than what people give him credit for. Like, I think he's a huge on-base guy. Over 6 games, he hit 261, which isn't great, but he had a 346 on-base percentage, which is respectable. Almost a 1,200 OPS. He had 4 home runs, had a double, 6 hits in 6 games, and he also walked twice and got beaned once. So, really solid week for Payton Burdick. When you hit 4 home runs in 1 week, you're most likely making it on this video. Bobby Witt Jr. continues to impress. Absolute no doubt home run to the opposite field right here. Opposite field tank. Bobby Witt Jr. showing that he can go to all fields with a ton of power. Bobby Witt Jr. 2nd overall pick in the 2019 draft, and he's showing why. He plays for the AA Northwest Arkansas Naturals. Terrible name for a team. 6 games this week. He hit 364 with a 385 on base percentage, a 545 slugging, and a 930 OPS. He hit 1 home run, 1 double, 8 hits in 6 games. He had 8 RBIs. He walked twice and stole 3 bases. So love seeing those 3 stolen bases in a week. I want to see him walk more. That's the only thing. He never really has a high on base percentage, which is a little bit of a red flag for me. Showing that he can consistently barrel up the baseball is huge. Jordan Groshans is getting comfortable in AA. Absolutely smashes this opposite field home run. Jordan Groshans, he's a prospect that I have said I think he might be the best hitter in that 2018 draft. He was a 12th overall pick. And that's a huge say because that 2018 draft is stacked. But he's starting to get comfortable. Played in 5 games this week, hit 318 with a 348 on base percentage, 727 slugging percentage, nearly 1100 OPS. He had 3 home runs this week. He had 7 hits in 5 games. He had 9 RBIs. One of his home runs was a grand slam. He walked once. Just did a lot of really good things this week. Love to see it. Strikeouts were down this week. Really solid week for Jordan Groshans. Love seeing the power come out. Next player up, Bryson Stott, Philadelphia Phillies organization. Absolutely has been smashing the baseball since they moved him up to AA. Absolutely crushes this baseball. Bryson Stott, 14th overall pick back in 2019 out of UNLV. You know, I honestly thought they might have brought him up to AA a little too fast. I know he's older, but he really didn't perform like that great in HighA. But he's killing it in AA, and this week does more of that. Over 6 games this week at AA, he hit 333 with a 407 on base percentage, 700 slugging percentage, 1100 OPS. He had 2 home runs. He hit a triple and a double on top of that. 8 hits in 6 games, 5 RBIs. 3 walks as well. Just did a little bit of everything. I really like his swing. Bryce Harper is his mentor. Great friends with him, which I think is fantastic. Having someone like Bryce Harper as your mentor. One of the better players in the MLB. I know that's questionable these days, but Bryce Harper is very good. Bryce Stott had a good week. Miguel Vargas might be my biggest surprise this year because, 1, I wasn't big on Miguel Vargas. And 2, he's done great at HighA, and now he's doing great at AA. He is not slowing down. He is maybe the hottest hitter in the minor leagues this year. This week, over 6 games, he hit 348 with a 429 on base percentage, 700 slugging percentage, 1100 OPS. He hit 2 home runs, 2 doubles, 8 hits in 6 games. He walked 3 times on top of that. Same amount of walks as strikeouts. Love to see it. Just had a really good week. Miguel Vargas is extremely impressive. Gabriel Mourinho, he keeps hitting. He was on last week's video, and he keeps doing it. First game of the week this week. Hits this opposite field home run. Just slaps it down the right field line. Love to see it. Gabriel Mourinho, 21 years old. Plays for AA New Hampshire Fisher Cats. Same team as Jordan Groshans. The same team as Austin Martin. He killed it again this week. 4 games. He hit 357 with a 526 on base percentage. 643 slugging percentage. Nearly a 1200 OPS. 1 home run. 1 double. 5 hits in 4 games. He walked 5 times on top of that. Love to see it. Got caught stealing, but I don't think Gabriel Mourinho is going to be stealing many bases. Dude can hit. And our last player, AA, and you know, he might not be the best player this week. I kind of went out of order on this one, but Dylan Dingler for the Detroit Tigers is absolutely killing it. Got recently moved up with Spencer Torkelson from HighA to AA, and he keeps on hitting. Dylan Dingler, second rounder out of Ohio State for the Detroit Tigers. 5 games this week, hit .368 with a .381 on base percentage, nearly a 1,200 OPS, 1 home run. He had 2 triples in the same game as a catcher. Really impressive. He had a double on top of that. 7 hits in 5 games. He also got hit by a pitch and stole a base. So really awesome week. Like to see the on base percentage go up a little bit higher for him, but just getting moved to AA so quickly after barely playing any pro ball at HighA, he's doing fan-freaking-tastic. Good job, Dylan Dingler. And here's his first AA home run. All right, let's wrap this thing up with AAA baseball. 3 top performers that just smashed this week. Let's do it. Seth Beer continues to rake, and I don't know why my Diamondbacks aren't bringing him up. The Diamondbacks are one of the worst teams in baseball. Bring him up at the D-backs. Come on. Best-selling jersey 2022. Literally says Beer on the back of it. He plays for the AAA Reno Aces. He was a huge prospect for the Astros. He was their number 1 prospect at one point. He was the D-backs number 2 prospect at one point. I just don't know why they have him down at number 13 now for the Diamondbacks organization, because this dude is a really good hitter. This week, over 6 games, he hit .286 with a 400 on base percentage, nearly a 700 slugging percentage, nearly 1,100 OPS. Just really good stuff this week for Seth Beer. He hit 2 home runs with 2 doubles on top of that. He had 6 hits in 6 games. He walked 3 times and got beamed. So really solid week for Seth Beer. AAA performers weren't the best, so Seth Beer, he makes the list. Next player up, Jared Kelenic has a fantastic week. Love to see it because of his slow start that he did have at his debut. Like, really rough start in the MLB, so it's really good to see him absolutely launch this baseball, first of all. That ball landed like 900 feet past the fans. But to see him have a good week, really refreshing. Jared Kelenic, 6th overall pick back in 2018. The Mets picked him up, traded him to Seattle for that Edwin Diaz, Robinson Cano trade. Maybe not the best trade in the world for the Mets. But like I said, he struggled really hard in his debut, and I do have a couple red flags for him, which I'll just say him right now. I think he's a little too pull happy, and I think he doesn't walk enough. But he has a really good week this week. Really good week. Over 6 games, he hit .333 with a .467 on base percentage. That's the stuff I like to see out of him. 1,200 OPS. He hit 2 home runs. He hit a triple. He hit 2 doubles. He had 8 hits in 6 games. He walked 5 times. That is huge. Love seeing that number right there. 5 walks in a week. Love to see it. He also got beamed once and stole 2 bases. So, I mean, he did it all this week. Absolutely phenomenal week for Jared Kelenic, but he's not our player of the week. I'm not sure why Luis Garcia isn't on the Nationals roster. He was last year in the short season. This week, he had one of the best weeks I've seen in the minor leagues. Let's jump into it. Luis Garcia this week absolutely crushed it. Again, he's only 21 years old. It says he's currently on the 40-man roster for the Nationals, so I'm hoping they brought him back up because he's been going up and down slowly. He's not doing that bad with the team. It's like a 300 on-base percentage and like 18 at-bats. Like, how much can you ask for a guy in 18 plate appearances? Like, come on now. 4 games this week for AAA Rochester. He hit .615 with a .667 on base percentage, 2,200 OPS. Yes, 2,200 OPS, 1,500 slugging percentage. Insane. But this week, he hit 4 home runs. He had 8 hits in 4 games. He walked once. He got beamed once. He had 5 RBIs on top of that. I mean, you don't have to say much when someone hits .615. You just don't. Absolutely killed it this week. Love to see it. I hope he's on the roster for the Nationals for the rest of the season after this week because he deserves it. He's a solid little player. I like him a lot, and the Nationals, they can use the help. Why not? All right, that's going to be it for this week's video. Really fun minor league recap. Way too many players in AA. They make this video, my recording video right now is at 34 minutes long. Yeah, I love the top performers, but that was a long one. Anyways, thank you all for watching this video. As I said at the beginning of the video, if you guys like these minor league recaps, please give my video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Let me know if I forgot anybody. I always do. Seems like I always do. There's just so many people out there that follow in the minor leagues. But again, this is top prospect oriented. Keep that in mind when you're listing players. But drop them down below. Put them in the comments below. Drop their stat line so I know what they did this week. So everyone knows what they did this week. Anyone that watches this video can just scroll down and see if I missed anyone. Throw them down in the comments below. All right, thank you all for watching, and you have a great rest of your week. See ya!